Sir Shiva sir, join a year, sir. I think sir join అయినట్టుగా ఉన్నారు sir.
Yes.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Warm welcome to this session, sir.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Sambashiva.
Good afternoon. Hello, sir. Long time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Just give me 2 minutes, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir. Fine. Sir. Sir, we can start, ma'am.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes, yes. 2 o'clock. We'll start. They'll join. No problem.
Thank you, sir. So, Honorable Speaker for today's session, Dr. P. Ratnakar Garu, respected principals, organizing secretary, members of the organizing team, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to you all for the 5th day of the FDP on recent trends in transforming life sciences, focus on academia and industry symbiosis. So today's theme is artificial intelligence in life sciences. So let me start with a quote of Louis Pasteur. The science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world. Science is the highest personification of the nation because that nation will remain the first which carries the furthest the works of thought and intelligence. So the programs like this help us all to share, to know the innovations in science and technology. And it also helps us all to extend our horizons of scientific knowledge. So in this connection, we are very thankful to our organizing secretary for gathering all the eminent persons in science and technology for this virtual FDP program. So I hope you all have an engaging and enriching session ahead. So now I request Dr. Nidhi Khurana, Coordinator, FABA Academy, to give a brief information about FABA Academy. It's over to you, Nidhi Khurana, ma'am.
I think she didn't join. Just let me check. Yeah, we'll wait for just 1 minute, sir. So she's joining. Just 1 minute, sir. Please.
Okay, sir.
Madam, can you invite one more time? Nidhi Khurana joined just now.
Okay. Now I request Dr. Nidhi Khurana, Coordinator, FABA Academy, to give brief information about the FABA Academy. It's over to you, ma'am. You can speak out.
Yes, so thank you so much for inviting me to introduce FABA and FABA Academy to everybody. Well, I'm just switching on my video if that is okay.
Fine, ma'am.
Yes, hi. So, right, everybody. So FABA Academy is a special wing under FABA, Federation of Asian Biotech Associations. And so the purpose of FABA Academy is to groom the students of life sciences and other allied sciences industry to prepare them for a career in industry as well as in academia. Well, we have seen that the lack of trained manpower is one of the most prevailing problems in the industry as of now. And so the basis of FABA Academy is to train these students in technical skills as well as in professional development skills. So we have been able to do it by organizing various webinars where experts from their own fields they come and they speak about the career opportunities in their own fields. And also we organize workshops. So a few of them were workshop on drug discovery and development, workshop on biologics and biosimilars was the recent one that was held. And then we also conducted a workshop on data science. And now we're ready to move on to conducting workshop on biosecurity and biosafety, along with, hands-on training for genomics. So we will keep you all updated through our social media platforms. And so the mission of FABA Academy is to develop itself as a platform where each and everybody who belongs to the field of science can feel confident about getting a job in biotech and pharma industry, and also to groom themselves and make themselves future ready. So I would like to request the audience to please definitely go through our website biofaba.org.in and other social media handles, where they will be able to know about the upcoming activities. Some of them are free, some of them are exclusive for members, but definitely go through the website and the social media platforms to get more information. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So very good afternoon, sir. Professor Ratnakar, I welcome you for this fifth day of session, sir. Thank you so much for your, sir. Now I request CH Vidya ma'am to introduce the speakers for this session. It's over to you, Vidya ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. I take this privilege in introducing our speaker, Dr. P. Ratnakar, Vice President and Global Practice Head, Life Sciences and Medical Devices, Tech Mahindra. Dr. Ratnakar is a seasoned professional with over 2 decades of experience in strategic leadership in life sciences and is recognized as an industry expert and trusted advisor to business partners and customers. From 2013 onwards, he served as a member of Tech Mahindra's vertical leadership as a global practice head for life sciences, where he was responsible for driving growth, providing thought leadership, client consulting, and managing endless relationships for the life sciences vertical. He was the director and head of strategic planning at Dr. Laboratories Reddy's and has over 2 decades of expertise in the pharmaceutical industry, biotechnology, and medical devices. Dr. Ratnakar has handled various responsibilities in product portfolio management, new product launch planning, brand management, supply chain planning, sales force excellence, strategic marketing, marketing planning and research, established market intelligence functions in the emerging markets, and represented the industry body on pricing and regulatory areas. He is instrumental in key organization initiatives impacting short-term and long-term business plans. He has handled mergers and acquisitions and entry strategies to new businesses. Dr. Ratnakar is a managing advisory committee member, BioNest, Bio-Incubator Nurturing Entrepreneurship for Scaling Technologies, Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, as well as Secretary General, Federation of Asian Biotech Association, world's leading professional body for biotechnology and pharmaceutical sciences, and a member Board of Studies, JNTU. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So now I request our resource person, Dr. P. Ratnakar Garu, to continue this technical session. It's over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Pushpalata Garu, and thank you, Vidya, for your kind introductions. Let me thank Dr. Sambashiva for inviting me for this session. It is, in fact, indeed an honor and privilege to be here with all of you and share my experiences in terms of how technologies like artificial intelligence and new age technologies are reshaping the life sciences industry. And the next maybe 60 odd minutes, I will try and spend time with you and share some of my learnings, how these technologies are reshaping the industry. I would also like to thank Professor Ratnakar. So, very good afternoon, sir. Thanks for joining the call. Let me set the context in terms of explaining to you how the pharmaceutical industry has entered the digital era in the area of research and development with the use of these new age technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain, robotic automation across the business areas in order to simplify the processes, streamlining the business areas, and more importantly, to fasten the drug development processes with very high degree of success rates. I'll also show you and share with you some of those examples in terms of how it is indeed helping. More importantly, artificial intelligence is being used at various stages of drug discovery. It's actually helping extensively in terms of identifying the new targets, in terms of shortlisting some of those molecules from the long list of data libraries. It's also helping in terms of suggesting chemical modifications, and also to identify the drug candidates for the drug repurposing, which is today the norm of the day, where we have seen that in the pandemic stage, where repurposing is actually getting the bigger pedestal, and also in terms of biomarker development. So it's not actually just limiting itself in one specific area, but it's actually cutting across all different areas. So leading biotech companies are actually collaborating with niche technology companies to reap these benefits in terms of how AI and new technologies are actually aiding to help them. Repurposing drugs have been actually developed for different therapeutic conditions, which we all know, and they have been positioning for a new area, and it has been an advantage of already available vast amount of safety and toxicity data. And today, we have seen those examples in the last 1 to 2 years more extensively. Therefore, it is actually reducing the R&D time and spend. Drug repurposing or drug repositioning is primarily powered by AI, which is a faster and effective approach for identifying drugs. I'm also happy to share with you in this particular in a context, we ourselves, along with one of the startups incubated in BioNest, we did develop that kind of an algorithm in terms of identifying some of these drugs in the area of oncology. So blockchain also is one of the emerging technologies, which is known for its immutability, security, and transparency, is also aiding drug discovery and development in numerous ways, such as data management, drug authenticity, intellectual property authentication, and so on. And if we also look at clinical trials, which is a very complex exercise and involves various stakeholders, making the process error prone is a important task, which you all agree with me. Blockchain provides a very simple and single sharing platform for all those entities, which ensures proof of existence, authenticity, efficient data sharing, and data security, leading into what we today look at as an efficient and effective clinical trial management. The MediLedger project, which is actually one of the important one, was designed to apply blockchain to track and trace prescription medicines and prevent drug counterfeiting. So if you actually start looking at some of these examples, there are innumerable number of examples where we see that these technologies are really making a huge inroads into the life sciences space. Coming next is the drug safety, which is of utmost importance in the current era of.
Sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Sir, are you playing slides? Slide is not opening here.
No, yeah. Give me a minute, Dr. Sambashiva.
No problem.
I will play the slides.
Yeah. Sorry, sir.
Yeah. So is drug safety, as we are talking about, is of utmost importance in the current era of patient centricity, and more importantly, the area of current pandemic. So increasing regulatory reporting requirements, which we have seen not just limiting to FDA, EMA, but also to even DCGI is actually now putting up lot of emphasis around the regulatory requirement and stringent timelines, exponential rise in the adverse events is complicating the pharmacovigilance process multifold. So we're now seeing some of those applications like robotic automation, etc., making inroads into the safety management. So if I now start talking about some of these things, it goes on and on. So let me start sharing with you a couple of slides to make it more appropriate for you to understand how we are able to see those examples in a big way. I hope you are able to see the screen. Dr. Sambashiva, can you please confirm?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
So let me start presenting to you about one of the important metrics what an analyst firm called Frost and Sullivan has actually put up. What it did is it actually put up the emerging technologies and developments which are impacting the pharma industry, not just or the life sciences industry, not just limiting to one particular space. It is actually showing you an entire spectrum of the life sciences industry, right from the drug discovery up to the operations, and where a digital transition is shaping the value chain. So we will, of course, dwell into each of those into the subsequent slides. But to just give you a quick glimpse, as we just mentioned about how the big data is making a huge inroads into the genomics and proteomics, the drug discovery space. I just mentioned to you about how clinical trials are getting more and more streamlined, and virtual trials are actually getting importance. And in the current pandemic, the clinical trials are getting more and more virtual, and that's where applications of AI, machine learning, IoT are getting more and more relevant in the current context. Manufacturing industry is again getting more and more automated. That is where we are seeing the shop line is getting more connected. So we are seeing areas like digital twins giving a kind of a complete newness into the manufacturing space. Factories are getting digitized. Regulatory bodies are also started recognizing in terms of how technologies can aid. I just mentioned to you about pharmacovigilance and adverse events getting automated. Needless to mention, the commercial arm of the life sciences is getting more and more digitized, and the industry is embracing some of these technologies in a much larger way in terms of how the commercial arms of the pharmaceutical companies are getting more digitized with the use of augmented reality, virtual reality, and so on. And more importantly, now we have seen that even the vaccines are actually getting technology imbibed by way of digitizing the entire supply chain process, right from the manufacturing till the last dose is being given. The entire logistics and the entire supply chain stream is getting digitized. And needless to mention, all these technologies are making great inroads in terms of this particular processes. So I'm told that we have session at the end of this presentation for question and answers, but I don't necessarily want you to wait till the end. You can actually interrupt me at any time you want, and any clarification you require, please feel free to stop me. So let me present to you a couple of trends which are shaping the life sciences industry, and let's understand what is changing. So the first one, sorry, someone wants a question. Is there a question to me?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me speak to you about how R&D labs are getting digitized. Okay, today the digital R&D is working on the ways to harness technology, which is predominantly aimed to improve the outcomes. What are those outcomes? The faster drug design and outcome prediction. And I just mentioned to you about how the clinical trials are getting more virtual and more connected. And that's where you are actually seeing the virtual clinical trials getting more prominent in all these things. And more importantly, real-time patient data is collected through the Internet of Things. So the digitization of R&D labs, we have been extensively working on some of these areas especially in the drug discovery. And today we see that most of the R&D labs in the large pharma or biotechs are working in siloed environments. And that itself has a tremendous amount of need for the digitization and application of some of these technologies, which in terms allows every bench scientist to get the right kind of information on his particular bench for streamlining the process end to end. And some of the use cases today, when we work with large biotechs globally, we see that the efficiency and effectiveness of digitizing these research and development labs has significantly improved in terms of their R&D processes, and more importantly, their time to market is getting little bit shortened. While we are talking about digitizing, it's also important for us to understand how the technologies like AI and machine learning is indeed helping in terms of identification of some of those assets, as far as at least when I'm talking about this particular use case, we did an application of AI and ML on the large set of databases to understand which are those right set of molecules for which in this particular case, we in fact scan through various orphan drugs to try and look at the right kind of target molecule for a particular rare disease. Happy to share with you, when we scanned about maybe 5,000, 10,000 compounds from various laboratories, in a very short span of time, we could actually narrow down on few set of potential molecules which can indeed be the right target for these rare diseases. In fact, of course, we did, as I mentioned to you a little while earlier, that this exercise is a joint collaboration between one of the startups out of Bionest. We did actually take it into in vitro. And what the reason why I'm bringing up that example is indeed these algorithms of AI and machine learning are indeed helping to identify the molecules, because those are actually been tested in vitro and they've been actually found successful. So it is not just a hypothetical kind of algorithms which are developed, but these algorithms are indeed actually been efficient and effective as far as the identifying the right target molecules are concerned. So to that extent, there are various number of examples how these technologies are really helping the R&D areas. Needless to mention that merging of this increasing computational power in terms of human genome and DNA will change the delivery of the healthcare significantly. Okay, and we have seen that in various examples, what we've been actually looking through, both in India as well as globally. So the ability to use the genomic information to determine the target therapies using these technologies is of gaining highest importance. And needless to mention, the time from idea to implementation with these applications are decreasing significantly. So that's I think one of the important achievement, or one of the important advantage one can look at by these kind of applications. Let me turn towards manufacturing. Okay, we are just talking about only the R&D. What about manufacturing? I think while we have seen a great amount of importance, relevance of these technologies coming into play as far as R&D, as far as drug discovery, as far as clinical trials are concerned, but even manufacturing is actually getting the best advantage of these applications. As I mentioned to you earlier, the manufacturing facilities are turning towards the industry 4.0, which only means it is the smart connected factories and smart connected supply chains, which is the entire what we call it as digital factories or digital supply chain. Okay, what it actually helps, by using the IoT, or by using the sensors, or by using the machine learning algorithms, or by using the blockchain enabled systems, you actually can have a predictive maintenance, which is one of the important factors for the shop floor today, as far as the pharma biopharma is concerned. And we are now looking at the factory of the future using these technologies. I need to actually call out one important innovation which is actually happening here using all the technologies what I just mentioned, whether be it AI or be it machine learning or be it blockchain or be it sensor-led systems, IoT. You are actually looking at digital twins, meaning that your entire operations can be remotely monitored, can be remotely guided, can be remotely maintained by using these technologies. And it is not, again, as I mentioned to you, all these things are not hypothetical, and I'm presenting to you from the experience which is actually gained in terms of implementing some of these by large vaccine and biopharma manufacturers. We did implement that globally, some of these areas what I just mentioned to you. Moving towards the supply chain, gone are the days where the supply chain is just only product centric. I think today the need of the hour is not just a product centric supply chain, but it is more a patient centric supply chain, which means that every individual, be it the manufacturer, be it the doctor, be it the patient, they would like to have a traceability of that particular product right from the manufacturing till it is actually been administered at the site, be it the hospital or any site where the that particular injectable or a vaccine is administered. So to have a kind of an entire traceability, that's where the norm of the supply chain has actually moved into a digital supply chain or a smart supply chain, by actually having all these applications integrated in the entire value chain stream. And needless to again to mention, all these have been actually done with the primary objective of one, as we all in the pharma world call that as OTIF, which is on time in full, meaning that whatever is ordered, it is actually supplied in full, which means that there is a reduction in the supply shortages. So net, the applications of what I just mentioned to you will have a significant impact in terms of predictive maintenance, because most of the time manufacturing facilities go through a kind of concerns or issues, and it is more a kind of proactive. So the maintenance will come into play only when there is an issue observed. But with the IoT, with the digital twins, with the sensors, the shop floor team would be able to understand in terms of what could be the possibilities of failures, and hence the predictive maintenance can be actually looked at. And obviously one can have a complete visibility. And more importantly, when you look at injectables, when you look at some of those products where you require to have a clean room monitoring, that's where in fact these technologies will have an extensive importance and relevance. So moving forward, let me also talk to you about, we just again heard about the research and development, we talked about the drug discovery, we talked about manufacturing and supply chain, then where is the customer or consumer. And I think amongst all, I think one entity which is the most demanding is the customers for any life sciences industry. So that is where we are seeing enormous amount of application of these digital technologies, which has got significant impact in terms of improving the customer experience, and also in terms of protecting the reach. Today, the biggest problem for any life sciences industry is how can they have better understanding of the customer. When I'm talking about a life sciences customer, it is actually the doctors who are the influencers for their particular products. I'm not talking about their OTC products, but I'm talking about their prescription products, where doctors being the influencers. To that extent, one need to have a clear understanding in terms of what the customer understanding, customer needs, and also the customer's prescription habits are. Towards that, there is a huge amount of importance which the AI and machine learning has gained importance, because it could actually help to understand customers in a more holistic way, understood the customers from a perspective of their clinical observations, their research publications, their prescription habits, and all put together, it could actually give the life sciences industry a much better perspective about the customer, much better understanding about their choices. Are they actually prescribing the medicines which are more kind of cost-effective medicines, or an expensive medicines, or monotherapy, or a dual, or a combination therapy? So what is the kind of expectations which the physicians have, and what is their prescription habits, and how are they actually publishing their papers in terms of the combination or monotherapies? All those things are actually giving the right kind of perspectives for the life sciences commercial organization, and thereby able to actually make better planning for their customers. It is actually helping to improvise the customer experiences, and is also improving their reach. Multi-channel marketing. Earlier, it was actually a kind of an omni-channel, which was more in prevalence. But over a period of time, multi-channel marketing is something which is getting more and more prominence as far as the life sciences industry is concerned. And towards that, digital marketing has been playing extensive role by way of all these applications, as I mentioned to you. AI and machine learning for understanding the customer and their prescribing habits. Second is also the applications like AR, VR, where the interactions between the so-called representatives and the doctors are making much more meaningful, much more, because most of the time the pharmaceutical companies are suffering from the attention from their customers. Here it is doctors, but because of application of AR, VR technologies, the physician and representatives interaction is getting much more meaningful and more productive. And because of all these applications, we are seeing there is a reduced customer facing costs. If you look at typically the life sciences industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the maximum amount of cost is split between the commercial arm and the R&D, where if you look at the innovator companies, maximum amount of revenues are spent on the R&D, and next comes the commercial arm. But if you take a kind of generics, where the R&D spend would be relatively low, but the spend on commercial and spend of manufacturing would be high. To that extent, if there is a kind of optimization of the customer facing costs, greater would be the kind of EBITDAs for those companies. And these technologies, these digitizations are helping the pharmaceutical companies in a very big way in terms of bringing a better profitability for each one of them. So having seen all these things, let me give you a kind of a quick glimpse in terms of how there is a fusion happening between the physical, digital, and the biological worlds. I just wanted to bring to you in terms of how this healthcare technology is imbibed into the entire process of life sciences industry. So let me start talking to you about the automated delivery, because that is something which I think all of you would have seen in press in the last 2 days, how even Government of Telangana has started embracing drones for delivery of some of those critical care medicines and also the vaccines. So that's where we are seeing the supply chain getting a little more automated, and drones coming into the picture in terms of delivery of medicines and vaccines to those places where logistics is today compromised. I just talked about augmented reality, how augmented reality is making a huge inroads in terms of shaping the way the customer interactions are happening. A couple of examples are, operating room of the future, where I talk to you about digital twin from a manufacturing or an R&D standpoint of view. And here from a hospital standpoint of view, how an operating room of the future can be built in using augmented reality. Internet of Things, where you have seen smart appliances and connected areas, where how IoT is getting imbibed in. Genetic technologies are getting more and more prominent because of gene editing and gene sequencing. Uh, uh, Most important part is in terms of big data analytics. I just spoke to you a little while ago how genomics and proteomics are taking the best advantage of big data analytics and making the processes much more predictive. Robotics and the automation of robotic process is getting a huge importance in the healthcare space, where we are seeing robotic surgeries getting into the prominence now. Blockchains is an area where there is a great amount of importance and relevance coming up from management of the electronic medical records, which we are talking about, the patient medical records, and also the drug supply chain integrity and clinical trials, where blockchain has got a huge importance. I just also wanted to touch upon yet another innovation or yet another importance which 3D printing is bringing in. And again, there are innumerable number of examples. And let me just again quote one more example, as I told you earlier, how we have taken the best use of AI and ML for identifying the drug candidates for an orphan drug. We did also, with our partner in Bionest, helped in terms of, getting these products validated using one of their patented 3D printed human organ model. And that's what, today there is a very great synchronization happening between the physical, digital, and biological worlds. As I mentioned to you earlier in my example, where AI and machine learning did help in terms of us shortlisting a few set of compounds which are actually the best fit for an orphan drug. We did actually take it into the in vitro and in vitro assays, and that did actually prove that indeed these molecules are working. But we again didn't stop over there, and our partner did actually take it into their 3D printed human organ model and validated that particular process. And we in fact got and in fact we filed a PCT on this particular model too. So which means that there is a very strong synchronization happening between the physical, digital, and the biological worlds, and we are going to see more and more such things happening in the coming world. I think we have spent a good amount of time in terms of how AI, which is artificial intelligence, which is getting inroads into the drug discovery, more into the diagnostics, and also the patient monitoring. When I mentioned about diagnosis, today AI has got great amount of relevance and importance because of the current infrastructure not supporting the treatment paradigms right now. I will pick up an example where again, as an organization, we are successful in terms of bringing in the AI and ML for helping pathologists in terms of identifying some of those tumor markers. And indeed, it definitely helped us in terms of aiding both the pathologists as well as the physicians for kind of right diagnosis. So by application of all these technologies, how it is helping the healthcare industry or the life sciences industry is, of course, needless to mention that there is a great amount of aid which is coming into the play for the doctors, for the paramedics, but also for the life sciences industries, because it is actually helping the industry in a big way in terms of personalizing the medicines, which is today again a norm which is very fondly been explored on, which is your personalized medicine. And device miniaturization, more importantly in terms of the digital pills and the variables. That's again kind of area where we are likely to see that happening. So these are a few examples I thought I will share with you in terms of how industry is embracing some of these technologies, not just limiting to one particular business area, but across all. So having seen this, you could now see the kind of a wheel which talks about how I think, in fact, if I look at this particular slide, I was actually trying to figure out even if there is a single one big pharma, which I could see that it is not been represented. If you look at this particular slide, every pharmaceutical company, every life sciences company is featuring over here in one form or another, in one business area or another, adopting artificial intelligence. You can see GSK's, Roche, Amgen's, Novartis, Pfizer. So every pharmaceutical company, okay, is adopting AI either in clinical trials or in drug repurposing or in pharmacovigilance or in biomarkers identification or even the data management, be it in the drug discovery or be it in the clinical trials. So data management is, again, as we just talked about, how big data and data analytics are actually getting a larger chunk of importance and relevance. And needless to mention, the largest pie is happening in the drug discovery and research, where you can see all the pharmaceutical companies are looking at AI as an important kind of pillar or an important technology lever for them to look at. Having said that, let me also give you a small glimpse about uh, how, as I mentioned to you earlier, this is, of course, a YouTube video which I borrowed predominantly to talk about how the synergy is happening between the pharmaceutical companies and the technology company. So you can hear from Satya Nadella what he's trying to share.
Hi, I'm Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. Today, computing is becoming embedded in the world, in every place, in everything. This new era of intelligent cloud and intelligent edge is being driven by massive technology shifts, including AI. AI is perhaps the most transformational technology of our time, and healthcare is perhaps AI's most pressing application. We have an incredible opportunity to apply AI to accelerate the discovery of new medicines and reduce patient costs. That's why I'm so optimistic about this strategic partnership we're announcing today with Novartis, which brings together their life sciences expertise with the power of Azure and Microsoft AI. Together, we will work to answer some of the most challenging questions facing the life sciences industry today. How can we help create the most personalized medicines that reduce the burden of treatment for patients? How can we speed drug design and development that benefit even more people? And how can drug manufacturing processes be optimized to reduce costs for those impacted? Importantly, our work together will bring the power of AI to every Novartis employee so that they can explore data in new ways, unlocking powerful insights with direct impact on their day-to-day work. At Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Core to this mission is ambitious alliances like this one, which offer the potential for enormous impact on society. I'm excited to see how together we will shape the future of life sciences. Thank you all very, very much.
You just heard the Microsoft chief talking about the collaboration between the Microsoft and Novartis. Again, a caveat, I'm neither promoting Novartis nor Microsoft, but I thought this is relevant for this session because Microsoft indeed plunged into this particular area of aiding the life sciences industry from a perspective of bringing in the right technology, which today's context of AI, and how it is helping large corporates in the life sciences arena of helping them with these technologies. So, having said that, let me move to the next slide, which we just spoke about how blockchain is actually helping clinical trial management, drug safety, inventory management. Today, one of the biggest issue which the life sciences industry is passing through is the right kind of inventories. As we all understand that either vaccines are required to have the right kind of storage conditions, not just at the manufacturing site, but till the last mile, which is till it is being actually administered to the patient. So the inventory management, right kind of traceability, right kind of cold chain monitoring across the value chain is of highest importance and relevance. That's where blockchain has actually been great importance, and it is helping not just the pharmaceutical companies but also the regulators getting satisfied with the kind of observations which are presented at regular intervals across the value chain. I also wanted to talk to you about how blockchain is actually is helping a big lot in the area of vaccines. So today we are working with yet another startup which is working towards vaccine ledgers, because we are talking about vaccines. I'm not talking about COVID-19 vaccine, but I'm talking about vaccines in general. So a lot of organizations, be it Gavi or WHO or UNICEF, is giving huge amount of importance and relevance for vaccine administration, not limiting itself to the developed world, but more importantly to the developing world, which is the less developed world. And that is where the importance of traceability, the importance of monitoring, importance of the cold chain traceability is of great importance and relevance, so that the efficacy of the vaccine is being maintained. And towards that, technologies like blockchain is getting more prominence, because the companies are getting the right, the regulators are actually getting the right kind of comfort that indeed the products are getting delivered and administered at the right kind of storage conditions which are stipulated. And public safety and consumer awareness, thanks to a lot of social media and also of course the regular TV and press media, which has got a huge amount of broadcasting done in the last 2 years. There is a greater amount of awareness amongst the individuals on the safety and efficacy which is required. And towards that, blockchain is actually making a heavy kind of relevance into the life sciences space. Drug safety obviously is of paramount importance. So let me turn towards yet another area of technological relevance today in the life sciences industry, which is the robotic process automation. And let me talk to you about one example, which is the pharmacovigilance. Uh, Pharmacovigilance, as we all know, has different sources of events getting reported. It could be through the patient reporting, it could be through the HCPs identifying, or sorry, the physicians identifying the adverse event, or it could be a clinical trial report mentioning about an adverse event for a particular drug. But for a life sciences industry, it is relevant and it should be compliant to the regulatory bodies, or any event reported either by the physician or by a patient or by a patient advocacy group or any clinical trials. So for them to have a complete 360-degree view on these events 24/7 would be a Herculean task. Hence, robotic, and of course, it's a huge time and human effort. Towards that, robotic process automation has indeed made great inroads in terms of automating the entire process of adverse event management. We did actually, implemented that, and I can actually tell you with all confidence that this robotic automation has indeed made a great amount of difference as far as the pharmacovigilance is concerned, and more importantly, the adverse events are managed. There is a significant amount of time and human effort reduction. But more importantly, for those reports which are more serious in nature, it requires the submission of the required data in a very short span of time. And to that extent, these interventions have made a significant importance. Robotic automation is actually also is helping in a big way in terms of real-time information to the customers, which is once again a great need in today's context, where the customers, either it is doctors or the patients, are looking at real-time information about the product, whether in terms of its availability, in terms of about its safety, in terms of its efficacy, or in terms of its pricing. So everything is what today we call that as the precision marketing. And whether it is the medical representative or a doctor engagement or a virtual assistance for the patients, you have a great amount of importance of robotic automation. Most of the time, we all understand that treatment non-adherence is one of the biggest menace. I use the word menace because it is actually impacting a lot in terms of mortality rate. At least for those products which are critical in nature, treatment adherence is going to be of great importance and relevance. And for various reasons, patients are actually not being totally adhering to the entire medication which is being prescribed by doctors. And there is a need for life sciences companies to come out with interventions in order to provide virtual assistance for these patients. That is where the application of robotic automation, application of machine learning and AI has significantly made inroads, and technology has really shaped the. In fact, I can use the word reshaped the way the patient interactions are happening, and application of these things have significantly improved the adherence rates. It has also played extensive role in terms of Salesforce excellence, because a lot of activities and processes needs manual and a lot of human effort, and automating these processes can improve significantly the Salesforce excellence. Analytics, not only just in the area of drug discovery, but analytics in the Salesforce and marketing management has great relevance and great importance for the success of brands which are getting launched. And application again of machine learning in terms of understanding the territories, in terms of understanding the customers, and also automating some of these processes can significantly improve the performance of the pharmaceutical companies. Last but not the least, where should actually be the which is normally called the territory planning, meaning where should I deploy my field force, where should I actually look at my brand promotion. For all these things, you have application of RPA, which is robotic automation and machine learning, getting to the hands of life sciences industry and making it more streamlined and more aligned. So I will also touch upon one more element before I leave the group for question and answers. Big data and analytics has got is in fact really making a big inroads as far as R&D is concerned, or development, regulatory, and safety is concerned. We discussed at length about proteomics and genomics, even in terms of lead selection, optimization, clinical dose, endpoint selection. So everywhere, big data and analytics is making a huge impact in terms of making the processes more optimized, getting the right kind of analytics onto the table, which is making the decision making much more streamlined and much more authoritative and much more futuristic. So because it is actually trying to give you both predictive and also futuristic viewpoint. From a development, regulatory and safety, protocol optimization, trial planning and execution, portfolio management, active safety surveillance, and all these things, big data and analytics is making huge inroads and making the life of the life sciences industry much more easier, much more efficient, and more importantly, more aligned and streamlined. Because we all, being in the industry, understand that out of most of the industry, life sciences industry is most regulated and more complex as compared to the rest of the industry. And to that extent, application of these technologies is making the life of the scientists or life of manufacturing chemists or the production team on the shop floor or the commercial arm in the marketplace, for everyone, these technologies are making a huge impact. With that, I come to conclusion in terms of my presentation, and maybe I want to spend next couple of minutes to hear from you, from your perspective, what kind of questions you have. I'll be more than happy to share with you whatever I could.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such wonderful presentation, sir. Now the session is open for participants, so you can interact with respect to any questions from you. So participants can ask any questions if you have any questions or doubts.
Sir, if you allow me to ask few questions, I would like to ask you questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. I thought I have actually bombarded with a lot of technologies, and suddenly the entire floor is silent.
Yes, yes, sir. Definitely, sir. It's because everything is new to everyone, because the most of the participants are from the botany, zoology, microbiology, and pharmacy, engineering streams also there. So what are the job opportunities for the life sciences students in digital marketing?
Yeah. So as far as job opportunities are concerned, what I would request each student in the life sciences space is to also get themselves certified, or get themselves more than certification, hands-on experience in how these technologies can be applied. I'm sure your curriculum has most of these areas well covered, but what would be important is how technology can actually aid in some of these functions. So I gave a couple of examples. For want of time, I couldn't actually give more examples, but you could actually hear that each function has application of these technologies. It's actually now today there is a great amount of opportunities for the students in the life sciences who has got not just only life sciences expertise and knowledge, but also the understanding and the application knowledge of these technologies would be a great kind of importance. The reason why I'm saying that is, you asked about what would be the opportunities. Pharma companies are spending billions of dollars in terms of IT spend, and they would actually be requiring people with skill sets of both technology and life sciences.
Science.
So
Yes.
yeah, opportunities are enormous. Not just only the technology companies, but even the pharmaceutical companies are recruiting in a big way people with these skill sets.
One more thing, sir, because I'm in academics, we are teaching both UG and PG here in the university. If you see the academic curriculum, the higher education academic curriculum, we don't have much information about artificial intelligence and machine learning in our academic activities. Then what kind of courses should be implemented in our curriculum?
Yeah, as I mentioned to you, at least as electives, I would request you to identify some of these areas and give them opportunities. And if possible, because they also have possibility for going over for project work. Okay,
Yes,
so they can actually get into some of the technology companies to do some project on these areas. Okay, what I just mentioned would be a good one. So maybe you can assign them project works in this particular space, which gives them on-the-job learning. And also some of the electives would be of great importance.
Yes, sir. And one more thing, sir, just regarding this personalized medicine, because the personal medicine or pharmacology or personalized treatment for patients, these are related to the medical background and how to enter into this field.
Yeah,
for life science students especially.
Correct. So I did speak about a particular use case where AI and machine learning is used in terms of identifying the tumor biomarkers, right?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
why that is helpful is it has actually helped pathologists. In today's context, there is a great need of these technologies for reasons simple. There is a dearth of pathologists because every pathologist can do only a limited set of observations a day.
Yes,
But the
definitely.
kind of load they have in terms of scanning through the biopsies every day is humongous, and obviously their information will feed into the doctors for them to understand in terms of what should be the kind of treatment protocol depending upon the tumor stage. I'm taking this particular example. If an application of this can come in, and if pathologists can actually give a kind of futuristic or a progressive stage of that particular one by applying some of those machine learning algorithms, at least the doctor will be able to see that in the next 6 months, if this is the protocol given, the progression could be X. So can they actually go for an aggressive protocol so that the progression can be reduced? So this is an example.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. I have a question.
Good afternoon, madam.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Jyoti from Women's College, sir.
Yes,
Actually, from academics, I have this doubt: how difficult will it be for a completely life science student to suddenly pick up this particular course on artificial intelligence? I mean, that this is just coming up right now, right? So, in fact, I would like to thank you for your wonderful presentation. It was very motivating. But how difficult will it be for a student of life sciences? Because if you must be knowing, as Dr. Sambashiva just mentioned, in our curriculum, nowhere do they have computers even in their academic curriculum when they do BSc biotechnology or any such thing. So will they be able to pick it up?
Answer is yes, madam. In fact, I skimmed through the entire application technologies. Not necessary that everything need to be there.
Okay.
But for example, you mentioned about the biotech students, right? BSc
Yes, sir.
biotechnology.
Yes, yes.
Why can't we have bioinformatics as one of the elective?
But they have bioinformatics, sir. They do study bioinformatics.
Okay. So
But
can
when
we?
it also, yeah,
Can we have data analytics as a part of that?
yeah, that maybe we should, yeah. Okay.
So along with bioinformatics, they will be doing data analytics. Okay, so
Okay.
for them, big data analytics would not be a completely off track for a
Okay.
bioinformatics curriculum. So
Okay.
if you can actually bring in at least that part can be included, so that at least analytics can be part of their curriculum.
Okay.
And as I mentioned to Dr. Sambashiva, maybe, you see, madam, one more thing I would also like to mention to the group is today AI and machine learning is at an infancy. Okay, so though we gave lots of these examples, and Satya and Adil are talking about working collaboratively with Novartis and
What
all.
is?
So these are all again futuristic views, futuristic
Perception.
kind of plans. At the same time, there is a lot of progression expected in terms of these applications. But
Okay.
at least, if you ask me honestly, I could see the relevance of that. I gave you a couple of examples where I personally was involved in application of these areas, and it did work.
Okay.
So, and again, to go back to your question, how difficult it is, I am not an AI man. I am also from a life sciences man. So And so for to that extent, at least, I could get about 25-50% of what it is required. So what is important here is a good mix of both, madam. So
Yes.
you can't actually become a biologist at the same time. You can't become an AI specialist.
Okay.
So you can actually be only on one boat, but at the same time you also have a good handshake with the technology.
Right.
But analytics would be an easier one, and it could actually go well with the current curriculum.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So we would also like to, like you to address our students once. Maybe shortly we will, contact you. So that
Sure.
if you, I think you should motivate the student community more so that they will get into this particular field, because the future
This
is
is the-
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. This is the reason why we conducted a faculty development
Yes,
program.
yes. Yeah.
And at
This is a
Ratnakar,
wonderful
sir.
session, Shiva. It's really very interesting. Thank you
Yes,
so
fine.
much.
So,
Thank you,
madam,
Shiva. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
One more point I would like to stress upon is
Yes.
Dr. Nidhi did speak about the FABA Academy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
through FABA Academy, we are doing some of these courses.
Okay. Yes,
And
sir.
we would encourage you as the faculty members and also the students of your college also to take advantage of some of these programs which we are running at almost every quarter. We are actually running a program which has also got some of these elements in that particular entire course curriculum.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
if you can actually reach out to Dr. Nidhi, she can also help you with some of those course curriculums, and we would be more than happy to help the students.
Thank you, sir. In fact, that was my next question. I was about to ask you that if you were offering anything for the students as a training or a course.
Yeah,
thank you, sir. We would definitely.
This is more from the FABA Academy, madam.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Sure. We will take it up. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a question in the chat box. Can I ask, sir?
Yeah, please, madam. Yeah.
Sir, it is from Preeta Mukherjee. So she is asking, in terms of climate smart agriculture precision farming, how come artificial intelligence can benefit the farmers in long run?
Very good question, Preeta, because we heard about how AI is taking its importance in the life sciences space, and with no difference, even the agri will have the same kind of relevance and importance, because everyone is looking at, and you rightly mentioned in your question, precision farming, like how we are looking at precision medicine or precision treatment. We are here looking at precision farming, and technologies like AI can surely help not only just the agriculturists but also farmers, because it's very simple. As long as there is a predictive kind of attributes which can be showcased. With my limited understanding in this, I can tell you that if one can have an understanding of the soil, one can have the understanding of the fertilizers, one can have the understanding of the climate, and one can actually run this particular algorithm over a fixed period of time. We can surely look at how it can be more precision farming, because you have all the statistics just before you, so you understand right at that particular context what should be the right mix for that particular environment, for that particular crop, and for that particular seed. So there are, again, I'm sure agri is also taking a huge amount of importance and relevance of AI. Though of course I didn't personally do anything on that, but with my understanding, AI did help a lot even in the agri.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So if there are no questions, I request participants, if there are any questions, now it is, you can interact.
So is there any chance to offer the diploma courses in this RPA, the robotic process automation? for the life science graduates especially?
Absolutely. Why not? As I mentioned to you, there are definitely a lot of applications on that. But again, I don't know how
Academic curriculum.
university is actually taking. But obviously, from a technology standpoint of view, they will have RPA. But if the life sciences can also, that's where I was actually coming to you in terms of having a elective.
Yes, sir.
Instead of actually having a diploma per se, but an elective as a part of their course curriculum, so that they can take that as a part of their entire 3-year program.
Yes, sir.
Or
Because yes, sir.
Or in masters, yeah, whichever way. Yeah.
Yeah, now the AI and machine learning is offering only for the BTech students or MTech students. So how this model is suitable for these BSc graduates, especially life science?
Absolutely, that's what I just mentioned to Madam Jyoti, saying that analytics can be part of the bioinformatics because Madam said that bioinformatics is one of the kind of course have analytics in that. Okay, so have instead of saying analytics, bring in big data analytics.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that would be the first step where you can see that it is not off track from their current curriculum.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Similarly, I don't have the current knowledge of because mine is dated 25-30 years back. In the current context, I don't know what is the curriculum for your
the
BSc.
same thing, sir. The same thing is carried for just 20-30% syllabus change. That's it.
Yeah. So to that extent, I'm sure we can apply. Having one of these course, okay, machine learning,
Yes,
because you will anyhow be covering some of this drug discovery process, right? Will that be part of it anywhere, somewhere?
No, sir. Actually, if you see the BSc curriculum, what we observed is we have all fundamentals and basics of the science, like microbiology basics, genetics basics, cell biology, and bioinformatics basics, and all are basic subjects only. And go to the masters, they are getting separate different fields. Okay. So here the students are lacking information about the recent updates because we don't have this artificial intelligence or digital healthcare technology. Anything is related to this information at their graduation level.
So I think
so this is the reason.
Has some
yes, sir.
Yeah, I think Dr. Ratnakar has highlighted the opportunities that are there in the field of AI and big data analytics. And now the new educational policy has come. Even otherwise also, autonomous colleges like Nizam College or maybe Loyola Academy and many of these colleges, you are free to introduce the courses whatever way you like. And I'm sure computer applications in biology, bioinformatics, all should be there for every biologist, so that those who are having interest or aptitude, they can further read and further develop. There are so many other online courses that are there. We offered at least big data analysis courses through FABA Academy a couple of times. And there are other universities are also offering several such programs. Students who are interested in that, they could always take up those additional courses. But autonomous colleges should invariably include the computer applications in biology, bioinformatics, such kind of or data analysis into the curriculum.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. I do agree, sir. Definitely recommend these your thoughts and everything to our management, our university level, and definitely will try to implement these courses very soon, sir.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. Redana, sir, I am from Loyola Academy. So we are having artificial intelligence as a course, sir. Data science and artificial intelligence, sir.
Biology students.
Yeah, MSc also we included, and even BSc also they included artificial intelligence, sir.
You could probably float these as open optional courses,
yes,
open
sir.
across any discipline.
Yes, sir.
So that whoever is having that kind of aptitude interest, they can take this course, optional courses.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Ratnakar, sir, it is very, very informative and we like to incorporate into the PG sections also. It was there in only UC. Now we like to introduce even biotechnology as a computational biology, one of the course. So we like to introduce there. If a chance will come, definitely we will do that modification, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. So I'm happy that at least this session has actually encouraged you to take that step. So I'm very happy about it.
It is really informative, sir. Everywhere now digitalization, virtual thing is going on.
Yes, absolutely, madam. So I think in this course curriculum, if you incorporate, I think students will learn during the college itself instead of actually coming out and then searching for the courses.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
madam.
Sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, I'm Ravinder. I work for Osmania University, College of Technology. I done my BTech Biotechnology Engineering. Actually, sir, I'm from an engineering background. I'm from BPC Intermediate. So what happens, recent the trend, all the, as per AACT, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So recent AACT, they given some policies, sir, actually. Every biology students, they can do even engineering also. They can study even computer science also. So I think in the next upcoming new education policy, so they can study even computer science also. So recent in our government of Telangana, so BIP students, they can choose BTech Biotechnology. So without bridge course, so Professor Ratnakar, we invited first, I'm from first batch from CBIT. So Neogen, we conducted first batch. So sir is that time was chief guest. So I feel so proud, sir. Your session is so informative and which is more useful present trend. Actually, sir, BT and IT. So, but that means I think here biotechnology we are not upcoming because we are the market now after this pandemic, this COVID, everybody realized it. Not only IT is, so we should sustain. We should get the better life. Not only getting money, not only getting IT jobs. Also, we should get the better health. That is most important. I feel the future aspects. So biotechnology will shine globally. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So if there are no questions, now I request our course director to
Madam, sorry, is not available. Just I will conclude the session. Yeah.
Sure. So sir is not available, sir.
Yeah.
I request our course director, Sambashiva sir, to give a session conclusion remark.
Yeah, good evening to all. First of all, our sincere thanks from our bottom of heart to Dr. Ratnakar Garu for accepting our invitation in spite of his busy schedule. Sir is always busy with the Tech Mahindra activities because Sir is the Vice President of the Global Head for Practices Life Sciences. Once again, thank you so much for accepting our kind invitation. And I would like to give a small conclusion remarks about today's talk. Sir explained very clearly about the research and development in the field of life sciences, personalized medicine, and the smart manufacturing methods and digitalization processes and multi-channel marketing, healthcare technology and genetic technologies, the role of this artificial intelligence and machine learning in identifying the drug targets. So helping the various pathologists identify the tumor markers by this artificial intelligence and the role explained in detail by Dr. Ratnakar Garu. So adoption of this artificial intelligence is now mandatory for all pharma industries and drug industries in various aspects like drug discovery, clinical trials, drug repurposing, data management, biomarker discovery. So the same time, Sir shown us today the future of the science by playing the video of Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella Garu as well as the Robotics, the personalized medicine and drug discovery. So they extend their hands and support together in these two fields. That means the personal medicine is going to rule the world. in the field of life sciences. Again, sir explained very clearly how the blockchain mechanism helping the pharma industry across the validation process. So the clinical trial management, the safety mechanisms, inventory management. Sir stressed about inventory management. Inventory management is going to take place very crucial role in the supply back chain. Sir explained about the robotic process automation, because in robotic process automation, the pharmacovigilance is taking an important role by the means of clinical development, the precision marketing, and sales force excellence. And by listening Dr. Ratnakar Garu's today's session, it clearly states that the technology reshaped the healthcare industry and also future of life science industry also. So the big data analytics and data mining is also having good scope for all the life sciences students. And there is if you see the life science industry, this is the only field where the development regulatory mechanism and safety mechanism is working effectively. So in this today's session, we conclude that the artificial intelligence is the future of life sciences, because without artificial intelligence, machine learning, we cannot reach the target that what we are seeking for the better health of the human welfare. And with this, once again, I congratulate and my sincere thanks to the Professor Dr. Ratnakar Garu for accepting our kind invitation and delivering such a beautiful and wonderful, very informative talk, which is very, very useful for all the faculty members who are working in different fields, because artificial intelligence and machine learning is expanded its wings in all kind of fields like cell biology, microbiology, genetics, biotechnology, bioinformatics, computer science application, healthcare technology, in medicines also. So once again, we must thankful to the Osmania University Vice Chancellor Professor Ravindra Garu and Registrar P. Lakshminarayan Garu and OSD Professor B. Reddy Nayak Garu and the principals of these 3 prestigious colleges who are organizing this 1-week FDP program. Professor B. Narayana Garu, Principal Nizam College, and Dr. Balabhaskar Garu, Principal Government City College, and Father Joji Reddy Garu, Principal Loyola Academy, making this 1-week FDP program in a fruitful manner. So this is the 5th day of this FDP program. So far, we have completed 4 technical sessions, and we have received a good response from all the audience, that is the participants who are working in different scientific fields. And all the sessions are very, very fruitful, very informative. And these sessions are very, very informative at the same time. We will take all these technology and innovations and to our students without fail, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. Thank you so much once again, sir.
It's my honor and pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir. So here we are concluding session today for today's technical session, and we'll see you all tomorrow at the same time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
So what about the feedback link?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is there in chat box. Please check in chat box.
It is not working.
So meanwhile, let me propose a vote of thanks, sir.